Welcome back, dear viewers, and you're still watching The Breakfast Show. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about the celebrations of the 150th anniversary of the first performance of opera Aida in Cairo. And today we are going to shed light on this performance, which is expected to take place on Friday and Saturday here in Cairo Opera House. Today we are joined by Mr. David Scalmani, Director of Italian Cultural Institute in Cairo. Good morning.
Good morning, Shireen.
Good morning. And Mr. Elio Orciuolo, Maestro Opera, Conductor, Cairo Orchestra. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, sir, let's first begin with the look on the history of opera Aida, and it has been now 150 years since it was performed here in Cairo. So, can you shed light on this?
It's a fascinating history. Of
Yes.
course, Giuseppe Verdi at that time was the most celebrated composer of the world. And Egypt called him to celebrate the opening of the Suez Canal.
Yes.
But what happened? In Paris, there was the war between France and the Prussian-Germany state. And there was a siege around Paris. So the costumes and all what was needed to represent Aida was blocked for 1 year, 2 years. They could not send the materials to Cairo. So they decided actually, for the opening of the Suez Canal, to represent another very famous opera, which is Rigoletto. So the opening of the Suez Canal was celebrated with Rigoletto.
Yes.
Then, after 2 years, of course, the war was over, and peace was in Europe, they could send the material to Cairo. That's why Aida was actually postponed by 2 years. So, first representation was a big success of Aida here, and it was the only time that Verdi actually wrote something on a commission. He didn't like to work, but for this very special occasion, for Egypt, it was a world event, of course. So Aida is actually then became part of Egyptian cultural heritage. And I guess you feel Aida is part of your culture.
Yes.
Although, of course, it was written by Verdi. And then, you know, history then went over, and many Italian artists came to Egypt to perform Aida. Conductors, singers.
Yes.
And Elio is actually one, you know, which is part of this long chain, you know, and
So
we are very proud to have him
the
here.
first time.
Yeah, it's not the first time, but it's an anniversary, so
Yeah.
very special.
Very special celebration this time.
Exactly.
So, my question to you, Mr. Elio, tell us more, since it's not your first time. So, tell us about your cooperation with Cairo Orchestra.
Yes. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm very proud to collaborate with the Cairo Opera Company, with Cairo Opera House. I have a long story, as
Yes.
you told, because the first time I came in Cairo, it was in 1999. In this time, I was assistant of the big conductor, Italian conductor Anton Guadagno. We will perform Aida in Pyramids in this time. And I was assistant. I prepare orchestra, I prepare choral with him. And then after 5 years, in 2004, I will come for the first time as a conductor of Opera Ballo in Maschera. And from this time until now, I come a lot of time with the Cairo Opera House, performing a concert, operas, Ballo in Maschera, until this last position of a principal conductor of Cairo Opera Orchestra, and this big project with Dr. Scalmani, that is the anniversary of Verdi, because it's not only the anniversary of Opera Aida. We also decided to make a big project with Cairo Opera House, with concert, gala concert, ballet, gala ballet, opera of Verdi.
So this is the beginning of a big project.
We start last November with a gala concert.
Started this project.
Yes, yes, and then we follow with the Balli Maschera. Of course, the situation of COVID,
Limited
yes,
the performances.
it was a little bit slow down the program, that
Yes.
we have to do. And I want to tell you, this Aida that we will perform next Friday and Saturday, it's not the mise en scene of Aida. It's highlights, it's a concert, highlights of the first 2 acts of Aida, and we will wait for a next performing Aida next October.
So you are talking to me about October, and that the full performance.
Yes, the full performance
will take place next
will
October.
take place in the.
It's part of the project.
Yes, it's part of
cooperation project between Egypt and
Yes.
Italy, right?
Yes, yes, it's
So it
with the set scenery, with the costumes, with
Yes.
ballet, of course.
Yes. So back to you, Mr. David. If we talk about preparations for this important event on Friday, how is the Cultural Center preparing for Opera Aida on Friday?
Well, as a cultural center, we can consider ourselves as facilitator of events.
Yes.
So we did all the preparation together with the Cairo Opera Company and the Cairo Opera House to, let's say, place in the better condition,
Yes.
better possible condition, Maestro Elio, also the singers, the soloists, to perform as better as they can. So we are actually on the background of the operation. But to tell you the truth, the Italian Cultural Institute has been cooperating for many years with the Cairo Opera House. So it's a long-standing, actually, collaboration with them. And we like to be part of the cultural offer of Cairo, and especially the musical offer, because for Italians, opera is sort of national heritage. So when you see, probably it's also a stereotype, meaning when you see a movie with Italian protagonists,
Yes.
usually either they sing opera or they like opera, so it's part of the representation of the national character of Italians. So we actually feel like compelled, also honored, to bring about in the world the opera heritage. And Verdi actually is one of the greatest artists, composers, I would say, not just for the opera, but considering music in general. And music has a special quality. It overcomes the barriers, the linguistic barriers, the cultural barriers. And Cairo in the 19th century was actually the most important place where Western music and Italian music was played in the region, and still has a sort of leadership. So being part of this great history of collaboration between Europe, Italy, and the MENA region and Egypt is very, it's very rewarding. So
True.
I feel that we are, in a way, cooperating very successfully, and we want to, continue the cooperation in this field, such an important field, music.
Yes.
Can I quote a philosopher?
Yes.
Okay, a German philosopher, so not an Italian one, but he said, life will be a terrible error without music.
True. Yes. And let's enjoy a piece of music now with Verdi, so let's have a look on. Welcome back, dear viewers, and you're still watching the breakfast show. And my question to you, Mr. Elio, tell us your comment about this piece of music or the concert we have just seen, and your memories here in Cairo when you performed it.
It was a really wonderful concert that it took place in last November, and it was the first concert of our project opening the Verdi celebration and the Verdi project with the Italian Institute. And this was the overture from Masnadieri, and it was performed the first time in Cairo. The first time in Cairo, and with a beautiful soloist, cello soloist of the orchestra, Shadi Anna. And in this concert, I remember that in this concert we inserted inside the program a lot of pieces of Verdi and Italian composer never performed before by Cairo Opera Orchestra. So it was a wonderful opportunity for both, because of course even for me.
Yes. So tell me about your troupe and how they are preparing for the coming event on Friday and Saturday.
Yes, we're preparing with the old troupe of Cairo Opera Orchestra.
Yes.
And basically Cairo Opera Orchestra, Cairo Opera Chorus, Cairo Opera Ballet, and Cairo Opera Company of singers. And as a tradition, as a long tradition here in Cairo, even the chorus master is Italian.
Yes.
And Maestro Carmine Colangeli, that he replaced the last maestro of chorus. We have a long history of big Italian maestro that came here. Maestro Barbieri, the last one it was Maestro Magnato, now Maestro Carmine Colangeli. And he will prepare choral.
They all come and cooperate with Cairo
Yes.
Opera House in concerts and different performances.
Yes.
Not only opera either.
Not only, but no. He will prepare all the operas.
Different concerts.
Yes. And also we have the tenor, the Radames, the performer Radames, that is Italian guy, very, very talented guy, Dario Di Vietri.
Yes. So also my question to you, Mr. David, about cooperation between Egypt and Italy in different cultural fields, and the history of your institute and its activities to achieve this cooperation.
Well, it's a long-standing cooperation between our two countries. It dates back to, I would say, the 19th century, when Italian community was growing at the time. We were pioneering in the cinema. The first projections, screening of movies in Alexandria, in Egypt then, were made by Italians. First printing company was Italian. We even collaborate to found the post system.
Yes.
So we took part in the history of modern Egypt as a community, as Italians, as intellectuals, technicians, engineers, of course. Then Suez Canal, of course, there were many people working in every level of the Suez Canal. So it was part of the history of modern Egypt. Architecture, so many architects came and designed beautiful buildings. They still are here in Cairo and Alexandria and other cities.
Yes, actually there is similarity between
downtown
Egypt and Rome.
Absolutely, yes, that's right, absolutely. So, I mean, again, it's a long history. Then, after the Second World War, Italy decided to found the Italian Cultural Institute, and so we have this beautiful building in Zamalek, and we have been, of course, connecting the two countries in the cultural fields, many different fields. Of course, music is part. We already spoke about that, but literature, theater. As I said, the cinema, so it's a 360 degrees cooperation on every level. And I think there is a strong now, in general, in Egypt, there's a strong demand of culture. So not just of Italian culture, of course, but we are part of this, this possible collaboration, developing new things. And we do, basically, we do three different, if I can just briefly.
Actually, we have many students studying in Italian universities, especially art and graphics.
Right, exactly. And so many also painters were spending part of their life, education in Italy. So in many different fields. It's difficult to, to map all the, the exchanges, because it goes also on the level of families, because there's a strong community, Egyptian community in Italy. So, it's society, actually.
And do we have an Italian community here in Egypt?
Yes, of course,
so
we
many?
have. We have.
Still have.
Of course, it was much bigger before, but
Yes.
because of the history and the changes, but we still have. And there is, actually, there's artists, there's musicians, there's, so in this small community, let's say, I would say a very qualified part is the cultural, presence. Even in nowadays, there's artists, there's singers, there's musicians. So it's interesting. It's small but lively.
Yes. So back to you, Mr. Elio. If you were talking about the cooperation between Cairo, between Italy and Cairo Orchestra. So does they perform in Italy as well, Cairo Opera Orchestra?
Yes.
I'm talking about Opera Aida. Was it performed before in Italy by Cairo Orchestra, or you come always to Egypt to perform?
No, normally, no. I never performed Aida in Italy with the Cairo company.
Yes.
The Cairo Opera House. But I have a long story of cooperation with the Egyptian musician, even from the Cairo Opera House. And because you have, as Dr. Davide said,
yes,
talented musician that, and I cooperated during this time with Dr. Iman Mustafa, that is the head of a Cairo Opera Company, and Reda Wakil. Professor Reda Wakil is a wonderful bass with a big projection of a career in the world, and we will perform together in Italy and even in other countries in the world.
So what are the coming performances you are expected to do in the coming period?
Yes, and after Aida, I will go to Hong Kong, because I am also principal conductor in Hong Kong, and we will perform Carmen.
Great.
In the next July, and then to Shanghai, because I spend a big period now in China. It's the first time after COVID, so I'm really glad to come back.
And then you are expected to come back to Egypt by
And
October.
then I expect to come back to Egypt in September with a gala, and in October for Opera Aida, as I told.
So as you were just talking about Carmen, so let's see this interesting concert on screen now.
I was very young in this Carmen.
back to you, Mr. Elio, and this that was part of a concert, a Carmen concert, right?
Yeah. It was a part of a festival, an opera festival.
Yes.
Summer opera festival in South Italy,
South
in Calabria.
Yes.
And in this festival I performed 3 operas, Carmen, Aida, the same,
Okay.
and the Cavalleria Rusticana. And yes, it was a wonderful memory. And 10 years ago.
Did you ever perform Carmen here in Egypt or not yet?
Not yet, not
But you have
yet.
plans to do that?
I hope, because we have a wonderful singer that should sing Carmen here.
Yes.
Yes.
So, to what extent Carmen is different from opera Aida? How different taste, or what's your comment on
But
this?
Carmen, it's a French opera.
It's a French opera.
It's a
yes.
French opera written by Bizet. But very interesting because the atmosphere of the music, no? It's like Verdi, for example. Verdi never been in Egypt before write Aida. Never listen any melodies of Egypt traditional melody, no? But it was really incredible, no, genius that he will. You can see, no, Egypt in the music of Verdi. You can see the tradition of Egypt. You can see the landscape. And if I think, for example, the third act, the opening of a third act, it's wonderful. You can see the Nile River that flow up to the sea. It's incredible. And the same is for Bizet, for Carmen,
yes.
and this Spanish atmosphere.
So, Mr. David, opera Aida is based on a true story, right?
Well, it's history, and it's
a true story.
The libretto has been, maybe Elio knows more, but the libretto has been elaborated in a way, in such a way that is actually referring to a very old history. So yes,
it's a true
based
story,
on
yes,
based on facts.
Elio.
But
yes,
there is a romantic part, of course, of it, and it's what really moves the audience, because always love stories, you know, in the opera are inevitable.
It's a difficult love story, no?
and tragic also. That's part, of course, is very romanticized, let's say. But
that's part of melodrama, no? It's
yes.
just dramatic.
Yes. But
So
it's true story. Yes,
it's a true story.
It's true.
Yes.
It's facts. Refers to the history. Yeah.
So, Mr. David, back to you, and let's talk about the cooperation. Before asking you this question, tell us more about this video, which is now on screen, and your memories.
This is a wonderful project. This is a project with the youth orchestra. I am music director of Erasmus Orchestra.
Yes.
You know, Erasmus is a big project of cultural exchanges, education,
Yeah.
education. No, in Europe.
Europe. Yes.
In Europe,
Yeah.
of mobility of European students from each country in the Europe, and even, of course, for music and for students of a conservatory of all Europe. With this orchestra, we put together the best students, talented, that has, in their experience, the mobility to another country.
Okay.
No, the exchange mobility of. So, and this is a concert that we make. It was a Christmas concert.
Christmas.
That we performed in Rome, in the big auditorium Parco della Musica, with a concert with some singers. I don't remember now exactly this.
Yes.
I don't see. Yes. Yes. No, maybe this is a Christmas song. Yes.
Yes, Christmas songs.
This is a Christmas song. Yes.
So, okay, go back.
I'm very proud of this project.
Really?
Because yes, we grow up students. It's not a project of performances, no music performances. It's a project of education. We will teach to the students, this young student, to stay in orchestra and to grow up in orchestra, no, and to listening each other, to be part of a big family of their future job that should be playing all together.
So also you told me that you are going to choose some scenes and features from opera Aida to be performed, not all
Not
the
all,
story.
only first and second act.
Okay, I was going to ask you, why did you focus on these two parts?
Because, you know, Aida is very difficult opera.
Yes.
Because everybody thinks to Aida like, no, a colossal, no? Like a movie, colossal, with a big chorus, big scenes, the triumph scene.
Okay.
But Aida, in the third and fourth act, changed completely atmosphere. It became like chamber music. Atmosphere, it completely changed. So we have the triumph in the first two acts and intimate atmosphere until the death in the tomb of Radames and Aida, the two main role of the opera.
Yes.
So it's like a big diminuendo until the end. And this is very difficult for all the executive musicians of Aida to make this change of atmosphere. We will decide. We decided to perform only the first and the second act because it was a concert. It will be a concert.
Yes.
So for public, it's better to have the scene of triumph.
Yes.
And then we will make, in October we will perform everything.
So finally, before wrapping up this interesting interview, my talk to you, my question to Mr. David, and we were talking about the fact that many Egyptians now are interested in studying Italian language.
Yes.
So
that's
tell
true.
me more about this.
There's several reasons, actually. All over the world, there's millions of people studying Italian, and maybe it's not well known, but it is, and for many different reasons. The first reason actually is cultural. They want to study the language because they love music, they love art.
They love the country itself.
Exactly, the lifestyle also.
Yes.
So that's the reason. And another important reason for Egyptians is that is the society. Actually, we have so many exchanges and families living in Italy. There's an Egyptian community there. So, you know, people related to Egyptians living in Italy, maybe they want to study Italian and so forth. Also professional reasons. There's Italian companies in Egypt, and it could be also something like something related to you know working projects. But finally, I would say it's like personal enrichment.
Yes, yes, it is.
We say Italians, we say our language is like the most musical or beautiful. I don't know if it's true, but we know we are proud of this.
Of course,
and maybe for, you know, what I noticed is that Egyptian students, they are very fast at learning. And so in a couple of months, they are able to speak Italian.
Yes.
So it's very rewarding also for...
Finally, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Elio Orciuolo, Maestro Opera Conductor, Cairo Opera Orchestra. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you a lot for the invitation.
Mr. David Scalmani, Director of the Italian Cultural Institute in Cairo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
And I hope a big success for the performance on Friday and Saturday. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Breakfast Show. Thank you for watching.